Ghost Banishers New Eden is a game I didn't like, but I feel like a lot of people would, which is a weird situation. And most times when I don't like a game, it's because I think the game is bad, but that's not the case with this game. I played this game, it's on my channel. I played it for about, 20 hours? I don't think it's bad at all. I just think that I didn't connect with it. And I played it for 20 hours because I was always trying to connect with this game. I always wanted to like what Ghost Banishers of Eden was. It just came to a point where I was playing the game and I was like, I'm not having as much fun as I was like. I didn't have as much fun on Ghost Banishers of Eden as I did on other games, such as Remnant 2, God of War, Hogwarts Legacy. I just wasn't having as much fun. It was a disconnect. That was always there, but it felt like I was forcing myself to play because it's an amazing game. But you don't ever want to force yourself to play a game because then at that point you're not having fun. And on my first video, you can see I literally named the title, "This game is amazing," and I was telling the truth. It is amazing, and it was amazing, and it was amazing a lot of the game. But then I'm having a lot of frustrations with the combat. I not really open world type of game, which I didn't know was that. I thought this game was going to be a focused story mode game like Plague Tale or God of War. This game is like, it's more open world than anything. It's not a game where it's going to be 8 hours. There's like hundreds of side quests, which the side quests are good. It's just that that's not expecting. I was caught off guard. And I will say the most fun I had with this game is when the characters are talking, or when you're doing a mission and you're revealing what the bad thing about the city was, which is an amazing thing the game did. One of my favorite thing about story mode games is that you can have a good story and have it be digestible, have it be understanding, which I think Ghost Banishers of Eden does 10 out of 10. It's probably the best thing they do, is they have a good story with layers and characters and mystery, but you're not lost. You're on the right track of following the story. There was never a point in this game where I was lost, like, oh, what's going on? Where am I supposed to be doing? 100% of the time, I knew what the mission was. I knew what was going on, and it was amazing. Every one of these side quests are like mini stories. They're not half. They're not half made. They're not just fetch quest. No, they have characters that you're like, oh, well, I don't want to choose. So some of them were like, I didn't expect that. I can 100% say the best thing about Banishers Ghost of New Eden is their storytelling. It's 10 out of 10. The storytelling is very, very good. Ataya and Red, I said it throughout my whole playthrough. I love these characters. They were amazing characters. And I didn't finish the game, but I did watch someone finish it because I did like the characters. I wasn't just about to play 20 hours and not see it through. And the ending is what I expected, which was another problem I had with the game. And that's one of the problems I had with the game that I just explained is that the game starts you off with, you're coming onto an island, you're a banisher ghost hunter, apparently. Your partner dies, you gotta get her body back, and the game gives you a choice: sacrifice or spare. One brings her back to life, and the other one sends her to the afterlife. The thing is, this game you can obviously tell what's going to be a good ending and what's going to be a bad ending. I did choose to sacrifice people because that's what I wanted. I wanted Taya to live. But the thing is, the game, it's pretty obvious what's going to happen if you pick sacrifice. The game sets you up for it. They're not supposed to live. You're not supposed to bring people back from the dead. So many side quests tell you that people who come try to stay alive, nothing good happens from it. And at the end of the game, that's what it turns out to be. It turns out that, hey, choosing to sacrifice was not the right ending, which I knew from the get-go. I literally said in my playthrough that, oh, I know they're going to give me a bad ending for trying to keep her alive, but I'm okay with that because the good ending is going to be predictable too. And I think anybody can see that coming, which I didn't really like. I didn't like playing in games where I knew what the ending was going to be. Like I said, the side quest is very good. So that side quest kept me going too. Side quest, which is basically story. Side quests are like chapters in these people's life. They're not like These side quests in this game are not really side
Dang, I
quests.
didn't
They
assume
feel
that.
like legitimately stories. Every single one of them are very written out to the point where it's like you could
What
have
am I
a
dying to?
TV show which each one of these people's story and they would all be different and very good. But in Taya's and Red's story,
Kind
that
of want to
story
redo
is
this.
pretty obvious, pretty straightforward. Which it
Oh,
was
is
it
that what
was
I'm
like
dying to?
walking down a tunnel. There was only one direction to go, and you know
Kind
what's
of
at
want
the
to.
end
I
of the
just want to
tunnel.
redo that.
It's the good ending or bad
That
ending.
was a bad run.
But
I
with
don't
that
know how
all
close
being
the
said,
prank
though, I
camp
will
is.
still say, if you're thinking about playing Ghost Banishers of Eden, you should
Looks
definitely
like the
play it.
witch
I
comes on
mean,
a
it's a
journey.
solid game. I don't
Unless this is
think
a
that they ripped me off for my
part.
$70 because I didn't like it. No, they didn't do that at all. I mean, there's plenty of games I bought at full price that I deem very good games that I didn't like. Dying Light 2, I bought that. I didn't really like Dying. I didn't like Dying Light 2, but I didn't think they robbed me for my money. I had purchased Far Cry 5. I didn't really like Far Cry 5, but I didn't think they stole my money. I don't think just because I don't like a game that the game ripped me off. No. Ghost Banishers of Eden is definitely a full price game. It gives you everything it needs. And I still think to this day it's underrated as hell. It's it's like an 8 out of 10 type of game. I can't
Red?
give it
That's
a
a hard name, I
higher
think.
personally,
I
but I
like that
think
name.
if you
Already.
someone else was to play it, it would be probably a 9 or a 10. I didn't really the combat too. Combat is probably the weakest part of the Ghost Banishers of Eden. When I mean, and I'm not even trying to cherry pick or be negative on purpose, you can see my playthrough. The combat is horrible in Ghost Banishers of Eden. Not the progression of combat. It's the feeling of it. It is he's red
It's gotta be a
specifically
flashback. I'm sure.
is fucking stiff. His feet is glued to the ground. It's like you're playing a first person shooter but with third person combat. It makes no sense why they went with this camera and combat choice. It's the reason I dropped it off. Same thing with a game like Lords of Fallen. Lords of Fallen does everything correct, or not everything correct. It does a lot of stuff correct. You know what the weakest part about Lords of Fallen is? It's the combat. And a lot of frame issues too, but the combat is probably the weakest part of Lords of the Fallen, and it destroys the whole game in people experience. But the combat as it is, I mean, the skill trees are huge. There's very unique ways to play the game. In Taya Red, you can switch between the two. They throw a rifle at you. You can use that. And Taya has very momentum. You know, there's plenty of ways to play the combat. It sounds nice on paper what they presented. If I would have saw what they were telling me the combat was going to be, I would have been like, oh yeah, this is amazing. But the execution of the combat was not there, at least for me. And well, let me talk about the good part of the game. The the good part about the game is that it's not stale. It's not stale. For a game that's huge as this is, it's not stale. Not one time did I ever get tired of playing the game. It was never a get tired of, oh, do I gotta kill more enemies? I gotta do this and that. The reason I was disappointed with the combat is I just wanted to get to the story part. That's all I really wanted. I love the story part so much. It kept me going. It kept me going constantly. That's all I really cared about is finding out what the bad part of this town is. And you can see that in my gameplay. In my gameplay, I just start focusing on main story mission. I don't even go left or right for extra loot because I don't care about it. I don't want to deal with that. I love the characters so much in this game. It's like, man, just get me to the story. And I will say the game, personally, it felt very slow because when you don't enjoy the combat in a game, that the combat takes majority of the game up, you can't really get past that. And that's the problem I have with Ghost, is that I didn't like the combat, and that's majority of the game. So it just felt I was forcing myself, let's get done with these enemies so I can get to the part I like, which you should never do in a video game. You should be enjoying every minute you're playing it. I really wish this game had a demo for the combat because I probably wouldn't have bought it. But I will say 100% that if someone told me, hey, should I get Ghost Banishers of New Eden? I've been thinking about it. I would 100% say yes because I don't think the combat is going to be a hit or miss for everybody. I think I'm probably just picky. or not even picky. I don't think the combat is going to turn everybody off. It's probably going to, some people are going to hate it, some people are going to not. I've seen people not like the camera, just like me. I've tried through my whole playthrough, I was trying to figure out the perfect settings. It turns out the settings. There's nothing in the settings that can fix the problem of the combat. It's integrated in the game. And I didn't like Ghost Banishers of Eden, and that's okay. I mean, you're not gonna like every game that comes out, and just because you don't like a game or I don't like a game, doesn't mean the game is good. There's gonna be plenty of games that are good that I'm not gonna like, and there's plenty of games like that out now. I already named a few games that I don't like: Dying Light 2, Dead Island 2, Far Cry 5. I couldn't play Doom Eternal because of the camera in that game too. It gives me a headache. But that don't mean I don't think Doom Eternal is a bad game because I couldn't play it. Or I don't think Far Cry 5 is a bad game because I didn't like it. There is bad games that I think are bad, and other people I wouldn't tell people to buy certain games. But I would never tell someone, hey, don't buy Doom Eternal. Don't buy Far Cry 5. Them are games that I don't like, but I can still see it being good. That's what Ghost Banishers of Eden was. There's no time in this game where I was like, man, this game sucks. It was just like, I gotta stop playing this because I'm not having fun as I am on other games. So I was like, it was just, oh, I'm done. I'm done. It was just a neutral agreement with me, and I don't hate it. And maybe I'll come back to it in the future when maybe I'm just ready to finish the game because I bought it. But right now, there's Dragon Dogma 2 coming out. I'm playing Hogwarts Legacy. I got Tekken 8. I got Street Fighter 6 still. There's so many games right now that I don't really have time for a game that I'm not 100% on board with. But that's all. Peace and goodbye.